Hi, and welcome to The Buzz. My name's Tony Scelzo. We've got David Wachtel in our studio today with Hautacam Consulting. Is that right?
Well, Hautacam.
Hautacam. Okay,
right.
Hautacam.
There you go.
I knew I'd murder that.
Yeah.
What is Hautacam Consulting?
What we do is we help our customers build civilized organizations.
Okay, civilized organizations. That it's intriguing, if nothing else. What does civilized culture mean?
Well, twofold. One is that they're able to attract what we call a talent magnet.
Okay.
Okay. In other words, they're able to attract the best talent in whatever selected field or business they're in.
Okay.
And that really starts with leadership. There's really two relationships that are key. One is between the leader and the followers.
Okay.
Okay. The second is between the followers and the customers, because generally it's the followers who are talking to the customers.
Would you agree with the idea that most of the time your people are going to treat your clients the way you treat your people?
100% agree with that.
And so you help people get to that paradigm? Now, how do you do that?
Well, what we do is we first start with the leadership and help them understand what their value system is, what their culture is.
Okay.
We all have our own values, and those are based out of a set of principles that we select. So some people may say, oh, I'm for teamwork.
Okay.
Where in effect their behavior is 180 degrees different than that.
Something else.
Exactly. So they're more dictating what goes on in the business.
Okay.
Which means that people that want to work in groups and have a lot to offer, they just sit and type their resumes and leave.
They don't really find that culture to be a fit for them.
Right.
And do you find that in designing those core values and then figuring out how to measure how you're actually applying those core values, that is transformational for the companies alone?
Absolutely.
How does that transform them?
Well, what happens is first we have to have them understand what their values, what their culture is like. And there's a way for us to do that. And then we can look at the behavior of everybody that works in an organization, and then we can put it in a big pot and say, this is how you look and smell to the clients. And then this is why customers pick you and why they don't. This is why employees pick you and they don't.
So you're kind of doing an assessment and saying, here's what you really are, not what you think you are.
Exactly.
And therein lies the gap from where you want to be to where you're going, right?
Exactly.
So once you decide where that gap is, then what do you do?
Well, then we start to work on how we can improve that whole process. What we do is we help people understand how to communicate with people that aren't like them.
Okay.
You know, you walk into a room and you meet somebody and you go, geez, that was painful.
Yeah.
Well, that person might be the most important contact you'll ever make, and you just walked away from it only because of their behavior.
Well, and so do we not only teach those people how to behave in ways that they can communicate with other people, but we also teach them acceptance through that recognition?
Both.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what are some of the ways you do that?
Well, first we do an assessment, and we use DISC.
Okay.
It's a really easy assessment for people to understand, and we have them take it, and then we can begin to accumulate that information. Everybody gets their own report, and then we accumulate those reports into helping the organization see this is what your culture is.
Do you find that just awareness alone through that assessment is a huge breakthrough for your clients?
Absolutely. In fact, it's funny when people get their assessments. The looks on their faces.
Yeah.
It's what it is well, essentially what we're doing is we're taking their personality and we're sticking it in a particular environment, and where those two match, that's what the world sees. So it's a non-threatening way for people to step outside their own skins and see how other people see them.
You know, you said that non-threatening, and I think that's so important to an organization going through change, is that they have to look at it objectively, the attributes they have, rather than defensively, the things that that may be negative.
Right. We've all had coaching sessions, and we've been told, you do this and you do that, and immediately the defense mechanisms go up. When you can look at it sort of at arm's length on a piece of paper, it's sort of a gut check for everybody.
Okay.
And then once they get through that process, okay, this is great, now what do I do about it? That's what we do.
Changing gears here a second, now that we understand kind of, at a 50,000-foot view what you do, who is a good fit for you?
Well, really, we're looking for business owners, say between 10 and 100 employees.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because when we get to 10 employees, you get a leadership hierarchy.
Okay.
And when you get a leadership hierarchy, that's when things get a little muddled. That's when people start pointing fingers and things like that.
Sure.
Other good clients are people who support those businesses.
Okay.
A concept that I floated out to several people at Rainmakers events has been, you're an attorney or an accountant or whatever. Why, do you ask your customers, like, how's your year going?
Yeah.
And they'll go like, no.
And really, that's kind of where we're talking about other strategic partners that give strategic advice to the CEO, to the leadership.
Exactly.
And you can come in and augment and help them handle some of the problems they don't have the bandwidth or the know-how to fix.
Right. And, of course, everybody wins there, because now that person, their business is bigger too, because their fees or their sales are going to get higher because the customer has expanded and grown.
Marketing consultants, accountants,
human resources people,
sales management,
Yep.
anybody in those spaces
Yep.
can be long-term strategic.
Absolutely. I am people who do financial planning, insurance agents, people like that too.
Anybody where a business owner has bestowed trust in them to make hard decisions could be a good possible resource for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, I kind of got a wrap here, and I want people to really understand what is different between you and some of the other business coaches that are out there, because I don't want them to put you in that genre.
Right. Well, the thing that really separates us is that we've done what we espouse. I ran a $100 million business that was basically dormant, and we turned it around to the largest of its size. It was an insurance company, the largest of its size in the state.
Okay.
The biggest compliment I've been paid is my boss at the time, for the last 3 years, has been my largest customer.
Awesome.
So he keeps hiring me back to do what I did for him.
Sure. So 10 to 100 million, or 10 to 100 employees.
About 100 employees, yeah.
Organizations that start to have a hierarchy of leadership, start to get some of those open wounds, so to speak.
Right.
And then really strategic partner-wise, lawyers, the accountants, the sales management, the marketing consultants, the other players that are really there from a strategic level are good partners for you.
Yep.
Hautacam?
Hautacam.
Hautacam Consulting. You've seen it here. David Wachtel. I'm going to murder both his name and the name of his company. You've been on the buzz.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.